Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 119. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. All right, so we start the episode off with Dani and Nicole. They're at the hospital. They're waiting on Anita to get done with the surgery. They talk about all the things that's been going on lately or whatever. So we go to Kat and Chelsea. They're at the house or at Chelsea's place and they're working on the hero bag. Chelsea wants to make sure she's up for this. She's a little sore, but she'll be okay. They talk about Anita's surgery and how strong Anita is, and what Kat did for Eva and turning down Tomas. She says she hasn't talked to him because he's avoiding her and she embarrassed him. That's his. I said that's his fault. No one told him to do it. She's still worried he will bottle up his feelings and go to someone else. We go to Eva and Isaiah. They're at the house eating them lemon bars. She says she just may forgive Darlene for calling her the spawn of Satan. Girl, you are the spawn of Satan because your mama is Satan. Forgive her for what? She was telling the truth. But anyways, she wants more, but that was the last of it. He says he'll go to OG's to get some cornbread. They hear a knock at the door. It's Tomas. We see Vanessa. She's meeting Joey at Orphe Jeans. She's excited to work with Deanna. Joey is worried about Deanna finding out about their business dealings. Vanessa tries to ease his mind, but he ain't budging. We see Deanna meeting Randy at the coffee shop. We go back to Nicole and Dani. They're talking about the Smarty family and um, the pictures that they had on the pictures that they took of them doing dominoes and pizza night or whatever. Then they talk about Kat and Tomas and how um, I think this is well, no, they start to talk about Kat and Tomas or whatever. So we go to Chelsea. She repeats what Kat said about Tomas going to somebody else. Kat says it's not the first time that they had problems and he turned to someone else. Chelsea says, well, yeah, y'all were on a break. They were not. And I don't care how many times they try to rewrite that ish. They were not on a break. She was, they got into an argument. She was focused on launching y'all's brand and getting yo behind home, Chelsea, because you had got kidnapped. And this man was mad that she didn't answer the phone. So he ran, not walked, but ran his behind over to Eva and slept with her. And then says, well, I thought we weren't talking because you didn't answer my call or text. That does not a break make. But whatever. But they gonna change it and make it seem like they was on a break, but whatever. I remember what I saw. I remember Kat saying that doesn't mean just because I didn't answer your call doesn't mean we broke up. I remember her saying that, but whatever. So Kat says that things are different now, that they are good, but he's been quiet and it has her feeling away. Chelsea says if you have to be worried about him stepping out when you hit a rough patch, then maybe he isn't the one. So we go back to Isaiah, Eva, and Tomas. Isaiah is telling Tomas that she's resting. Eva sees him and tells him to come in. He wants to check on her and he brought her a gift. He says it's, him and Kat wanted to check on her, but she was just like, really? And he was just like, yeah, you right. Sorry, y'all. He was just like, yeah, you right. Um, so she opens up the gift and it's the next book in the series that they've been reading that they all um that they bonded over or whatever. Isaiah already got her the book and he and Tommaso just like, okay, well then you can keep it and maybe you can, get into it too. And he was just like, oh, you're 0 for 2 today because I already got into the book and he spills the whole he like and he gives away the, what happens in that book. And Tommaso just like, whoa, spoiler alert. And he was just like, oh, my bad. And I wrote in there, both of them are smug. Not Cat, but Eva and Isaiah, they are both smug. And I think that's another one of the reasons why I do not like them. Because yeah, they're yeah, I don't like them. But yeah, anyways, sorry. So Deanna and Randy are catching up. They're happy to see each other. They're talking about Doug and whatnot. Joey is telling Vanessa that he's taking steps to make sure that Deanna doesn't find out about their dealings. She wants to know what he's done. We go back to Dani and Nicole. They're talking about um, um, no, Dani is telling Nicole that if Tomas does anything to Kat, then he's gonna have to deal with her in one call to Bill, and it's over for him. Nicole wants Kat to be careful. Dani asks if she wishes Kat didn't take him back when she found out that he slept with Eva. She says it's not that. Kat made her decision. She just doesn't want her to waste her best years on an adulterer who has a fragile ego. And Dani says like we did. And I was just like, did y'all like you, Dani? Yes, yeah, you did. You wasted your best years on this man because you knew he was an adulterer. Nicole, did you waste your best years with him because you, even though he, yes, he cheated, um after whatever happened, he spent the next 10 plus years making it up to you without you knowing about it. So did you waste your years on him? Because I feel like you, I don't know if you would have took him back if you found out about it, because you left him real quick. So maybe, I don't know if you left him real quick because it was a 20-year lie, or if you would have found out back then, if you would have left him, or if you would have stayed like Dani did. We don't know. But the only reason why I think that she would have stayed is because you put the when your daughter told you about her man cheating on her with her half sister, you put the onus on her and made it seem like it was her fault that he cheated because they weren't in a good place. So it's just like, would you have done the same thing? Because at the time that Ted cheated on you, y'all weren't in a good place because y'all were so focused on, y'all were going through things because y'all were focused on trying to have another baby. So that's why I'm just like, would you have left? So did you really waste your best years? I don't know. But I wish you would have told your daughter this instead of again putting the onus on her and making it seem like it was her fault. So that gave her the like, it gave her the like, yeah, go ahead and take him back when you left your husband, but whatever. We're neither here nor there anymore. So we gone from that. Um they say, why can't more men be like Vernon? And Anita hit the jackpot. Vernon comes up behind them and says he's the one who found the jackpot in Anita. We see Tomas. He's getting ready to leave, but Isaiah asks him to keep an eye on keep Eva company while he goes out to get some takeout or whatever. He leaves, and Eva asks what's on his mind. She asks if something happened between him and Kat, and he tells her that he asked Kat to marry him, but she says no. We go to back to Kat and Chelsea, and she's making excuses for Tomas, but Chelsea says, "But you think history will repeat itself?" She says what Nicole would say, and Chelsea says what Dani would say and do. She says Tomas isn't like Bill or Ted and makes more excuses for him. Chelsea says that isn't an excuse. She talks about their sex life and how it wasn't good initially, but now that it's better, that was, again, she was saying that was a reason why they were going through issues or whatever. She says she wishes there was a middle ground. Chelsea asked her what would that look like, what would that middle ground look like, and then Kat gets an idea. So we see Deanna and Randy there again talking. um Randy is telling her to talk to somebody about Doug and grief. Randy tries to be there for her. She says she would be excited about her future because she's about to graduate soon, but she doesn't know what she can do. She doesn't know if she can do it without her dad. He asks if she's talked to Vanessa about her feelings. She says no, and then she makes a dig at Joey. We go back to Joey and Vanessa. He says he's going to stop cleaning the cash he's going to stop cleaning the cash at the business until Deanna goes back to school. Vanessa doesn't like it, but he's going to do it anyway. He wants her to be clean if the ish hits the fan. She says he's using her daughter to shut her out of the business, but they are still partners. He says yes, when Deanna goes back to school, they'll go back to whatever it is. And it's just like, girl, you want to be in this business that bad that you would willingly do clean money while your daughter is working there. Like, if, like he said, if the ish hit the fan, everybody at that place is going to get rounded up, including your daughter. And you're okay with that because you want to be his business partner that much. You want to be a mob wife that bad. Like, what is so exciting about that? Like, he's a dangerous guy, but it's just like, it don't, like, okay, he got bodyguards. The only thing that we see, like, I ain't seen him do anything for me to be like, oh, I'm scared of Joey. It's just because he got bodyguards and he flexes on everybody in the show. That's the only thing that's like, okay, that's why he's X, Y, and Z. But it's just like, really? Okay. So we go back to Vernon. He's telling them about his walk and him paying homage to the people before him because he went to the boardroom and he was looking at the photos. Dani is worried that they haven't heard anything, and she's scared that what happened to Kat will happen to Anita. But Vernon says he has faith that everything's going to be all right. We go back to Kat. She says she's going to buy a condo. She wanted to buy one before, for her and Tomas, but now she thinks this is the right time. Chelsea doesn't think it's a good idea. Chelsea reminds her of what happened before, but Kat is adamant about buying this. So we go back to Vanessa and Joey, and she's telling him that that's the only adjustment he's going to make. Um, about cleaning the cash. He wants her to, give the heart attach up to someone else. And she says no, she's going to do it. She then gets a call from Kat. And then Joey goes to check on Isaiah. Kat tells Vanessa that she's in the market to get a new place. Joey asks Vanessa, how is Eva? We go back to Tomas telling Eva about what happened. She feels bad for him for a second, and then she goes off on him about coming there. Um, she goes off on him about coming there. He wants to know why they are friends. She's uncomfortable because the last time they had a snag, that Kat and Tomas had a snag, he ended up at her doorstop, and then again she goes off on him saying she's happy with Isaiah and Kat just saved her life and she wouldn't repay her by sleeping with him again. He tells her he needed a friend and she's the only one that he has. She says her and Kat have something of an understanding and she doesn't want to mess it up. He tells her he probably shouldn't have told her. He probably should have told Kat that's where he was coming. She gives him advice and tells him to tell Kat how he really feels, and that'll show her bougie half sister that her heart is safe with him, and vice versa. Now this scene, I was beyond annoyed because Eva, girl, please, you you set y'all's friendship this way. This is how you set y'all's friendship to be. Whenever he would have issues with Kat, you wanted him to come to you so that you could badmouth her, and you became his only friend. And now that he actually needs a friend, you want to throw in his face that, oh, I'm so in love with my man, and da 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 da, my man, my man, my man, and all this other stuff. And it's just like, girl, don't nobody want you like that. He needed a friend in this moment. And I hate that she got me taken up for Tomas, because y'all know how I feel about that man. But yes, he needed a friend in this moment, and you decided to make it about yourself and you being in love with Tomas, and you would never step out on him and X, Y, and Z. But it was okay when your sister was in love with this man and you went and you did every and anything to take him from her, but he decided to stay with her. Back then it was okay. Now it's not. So yeah, this scene pissed me off because it was just like, really. And then for her to go and sit there and call her bougie half sister, girl, I thought y'all came to an understanding. Why are you calling her your bougie half sister? Why couldn't you just say Kat, or why couldn't you just say your half sister? Why do you have to make a dig at her? Because it's just like, if when Kat does it, it's an issue. But when Eva does it, oh, it's okay. Because there was no need for her to, there was no need for Eva to even say, like, oh, my bougie half sister. There was no need for her to say any of that. But of course, she couldn't, as much as y'all say Kat can't help it but take a dig at Eva, it's Eva who can't help it but take a dig at Kat. But I digress. So we go back to Joey. Sorry. So we go back to Joey talking to Isaiah and telling him that he's there for him if he ever needs him. Isaiah leaves. Vanessa is telling Kat that she's fickle and she doesn't want to work with her. Kat tells her she's ready to buy and she knows the right place. Vanessa tells her she's gonna send her assistant over to her. We go back to Randy and Vanessa. Randy and Deanna. She's happy that she has him to talk to. She's happy that she has Randy to talk about Doug, someone who knew him. She's worried about forgetting him, about forgetting Doug and how everyone else is. He tells her that Doug is still alive in her heart and all and in the hearts of all the people that loved him. She gets a call and tells him that she has to take it. Randy leaves and oh yeah, she gets a call. She says she has to take it. Randy leaves, and he says he'll see her later. Vanessa's the one who calls her and tells her that she has the first gig for her. So we go back to the hospital. The surgery was a success. Anita's in recovery and resting, and then they tell the family what's next, and then they're all relieved. So we get back to Isaiah. We get back to Eva and Tomas. Isaiah's back. Tomas thanks her for her advice and leaves. Eva thanks him for letting her and Tomas catch up. He tells her about running into Joey and him wishing her a speedy recovery. She says he isn't the big bad wolf like everyone says. And child, anyways, Joey tells Vanessa about his run-in with Isaiah and Eva. He asked about the call. She tells him it was Kat and her giving Deanna her first assignment. He gets a call from Randy saying, I did what you asked, and he'll give him a full report. He'll see him later. Joey goes to leave as Vanessa looks on pissed. We see Kat talking to Chelsea about buying this condo. She thinks that it'll fix her relationship. Chelsea tries to get her to understand and change her mind, but she ain't budging. Deanna shows up and they find out that she's assistant and she's ready to get Kat into the condo of her dreams. We see Dani, Nicole, Vernita. I said Vernita. Well, yeah, it's Vernita, but we see Dani, Nicole, Vernon, and Anita. They're getting ready to take her home. They tell her about the instructions. She thinks she's fine and wants to walk out of the hospital, but they won't have it. Nicole tells her all the reasons why she can't. She sits back down and they get on the elevator. We go back to Eva and Isaiah. Isaiah tells her there were no more cornbread, but he got her peach cobbler instead. She's happy. We see Vanessa. She is working on, I guess, the scheduling for heart attach or whatever. Deanna walks in and tells her that Kat put in the offer for the condo. Vanessa is proud of her. Randy is telling Joey about his convo with Deanna, and he tells him that her feelings ain't changed. We go to Tomas. He's visiting Kat at Chelsea's place. Yeah, he's glad that she's still his boo, and they kiss, and she's like a little like, whatever. He says he can't kiss the woman he loves. She says, you still love me. He wants to know, he doesn't want to rehash the proposal. He tells her he was in his feelings. But instead of talking to her, he went silent, and Eva told him to be honest. She gets a little bit upset about it, but then she was just like, it is what it is. He says Eva told him that he shouldn't have come there. And for once, and she says, for once, her and Eva are on the same page. She wishes that he would talk to her. He asks, do you trust me with Eva? She says, well, Eva has a boyfriend now. So yeah, she trusts him, but he really needs more friends. And the fact that the only reason why you trust him with Eva is because she has a boyfriend should tell you everything you need to know about this relationship, Kat. I need you to use that detective skills that you be having. I need you to use that intuition, all of that stuff that you have. I need you to use that when it comes to Tomas, because girl, what? Anyways, So she tells him about the condo and how they're going to take it. And he says that's not going to work for him. And that's how the episode ends. So yeah, that was the episode. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. Get down in the comments. Tell me what you guys thought of this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.